Beau, you're just about to have coffee and you're brushing your teeth. There's a good dirty batch of coffee for you. A few of yesterday's grounds and some new ones in there. I love junk. It's a strapline of my book, The Value of Other People's Junk. Well, in this case, it's my own junk. Over the years, I've shot films that are junkish. They're not quite right. Some bad endings, some bad starts, some bad middles, some not talking very well. So what this film is about is showing you 4 films that are not quite right. I think they show some insight. So I've got my notepad here. I'm going to go through, watch the films and tell you the goods and bads about these old films. I love this idea because it's giving something that's dead and buried or in a box another life. And with the idea that a whole bunch of short, bad films make one okay middle-length film. All right, well, it's exciting, making something out of nothing. This first one's called Mini Hotel. It's my attempt at a vlog. So I've signed up to do some radio and TV interviews for my Man Made of Beans project. I didn't want to spend lots of money on a hotel room, so I thought, let's try this pod business. So here I am in Sydney, sleeping in a pod. Hi, mate.
Hello. Thank you.
It's one of the busiest sectors of domestic travel in the world, Melbourne to Sydney. It's where I find myself. I'm on the train heading to stay in a shoebox hotel. This is the experiment. I've never been to one of these things before. I didn't want to spend money on an expensive hotel room, so I've got a pod. A $38 a night pod. Whoa. Focus. Which I think might very well be my bag. Get your own space, walk out the world, rest, read a book, listen to music, sleep like the dead. There you go. There's I thought tonight I would eat in. I'm going to stick this place out with tuna. Yes, I probably am. I slept really well in that pod thing. I didn't wake up to other people sleeping in their pods, and I feel really refreshed. Thanks for having me, James. Does it have a view? No. Natural light? No. Late checkout? Yes. Flimsy roof? Yes. Lots of charging, a safe, very cool mirror, I can look at myself. And it's $38. So would I get that capsule again? Absolutely. I feel like it's got potential, but that's where I stopped filming. It just lots of out of focus. I had stuff in my beard. I didn't mention it was like being at space. I mean, other than the gravity thing, that little capsule, I felt like I was in space. But the big one is Ron Moss, the daytime soap star. I thought Ron Moss would be a typical American soap star because I know so many of them. But it turns out Ron Moss was a total sweetheart. Him and I shared an avocado. Should have made that my story. That should have been the vlog. Hey, Ron, let's go make a film together. Which he would have denied me. He wouldn't have done it, but that would have been a story in itself, better than a mini hotel maybe. The art of filmmaking is to shoot when you don't want to shoot and follow stories when you know it's a good idea, but it's a hassle. Let's get some more lights on here. I'm not really a vlogger. look at that. Whenever you start to feel like things aren't quite right, and this is you who cares about this product in the edit suite, then it ain't right. Okay, this next film is recorded on an iPhone 7. It was of a sea kayaking trip in North Queensland. The film itself was a 10-day trip. I've cut off the first half of the trip because I didn't really have a story, I didn't have a start. And so it starts on day 6. It's called my first iPhone film, and the rest is self-explanatory. There I was, Hinchinbrook Island National Park, looking over this UNESCO World Heritage area. This is shot from half a coconut, which make excellent tripods. I tend to think better and sleep more and solve most of my human riddles when on expedition, based on being present, which I think is code for being content and curious and seeing lots and doing more. And then there's the social aspects of expeditionary life. Students tend to create a village, a bubble. I tend to come in and out of their village, this nice little charming and warm and fun place that they've created. But I always break away, and I always love being alone. Places like this are so new to me, it's a different kind of green, different trees, the wind comes from a different direction. All the little things. And of course, how all those little things are part of something so much bigger. Habits take over, like coffee and the time it takes to brew. Days dried up and the wind changed, allowing passage back to the mainland. A sense of anticipation then creeps in, which is much like what it felt before the trip. You lay in your tent on the last night and think about beer and your wife and the exotic shelves of a petrol station. It's as if the mainland is a national park with all these familiar moving parts. Nothing's new, but it's now equally exciting. You write lists of what you'd do differently next time. Mind you, I never seem to find those lists before the next trip. Whenever you think you can recreate a voiceover in the aftermath, you're in danger. You need to talk to your camera, you need to talk to yourself, you need to talk to other people and get that, you need to capture that. I was a bit serious. I don't like myself when I'm a bit serious. You come across as you come across as too serious. There's some lovely shots. Good on you, iPhone 7. I edited that too, and maybe that was its failing. I didn't hand it all over to Mitch. But fundamentally, it never saw the light of day because it never had really a great introduction. I didn't talk about the patch in my pants. Did you see that wicked, I used tape to fix up my pants? That's the story, Beau. If there's one thing about my films, I try and make them personal because that's the only expertise I have is on myself. Stories are hard to tell because they become the essence of a big thing into something small. You got to nail it. You find yourself waffling on and you're bored yourself. Okay, this next one's called The Pumpkin Project. And I cocked it up so spectacularly. This is probably the worst film I've ever made. So I'm going away for 4 days and I've always thought that I'd just like to take one thing to eat. So I'm going to pick a pumpkin. I'm going to walk 30 or 40 Ks with a pumpkin and that's all I'm going to eat. So the beauty of all this is too that packing's really easy. Once you're a bit of an outdoorsy kind of person, you can pack within, no time at all really. And so if food's really simplified, boom! Look at that, just a pumpkin in the top. And they're my 3 main meals. So I'll probably skip brekkie and lunch and just have a big ass chunk of pumpkin each night. The idea behind it all is just to eat one basic thing, see how hungry you feel, see how much energy it gives you, and it's just a litmus test. And I really like testing how I feel against what I eat. I think it's a big part of life. In fact, it is life. I am what I eat, and so that's what I'm going to do. Pumpkin project for 3 days. Meal number 1. Fogging up the lens, sorry. And yeah, I didn't do any more filming. I didn't run out of batteries. I didn't run out of an inspired life. I just didn't film anymore. I've never had as good a pumpkin year as that too. They were really good pumpkins that season. I've been trying to get pumpkins big enough for me to do the pumpkin project again, right? Needs to be about yay big. At least 2 heads worth it needs to be for a week worth of calories. And I ended up doing the bean project, eating beans only for 39 days based on that same kind of curiosity. I've had feedback from people saying, Beau, you've got to close your mouth when you eat. Beau, you shouldn't eat so much on screen. Beau, you shouldn't talk while you've got food in your mouth. So they're good points, Mitch. So this last film has potential. My first trip guiding in the Outer Hebrides in Scotland. It's me paddling with a whole bunch of students and another guide 1 degree south, which is about 100 kilometres. I've never been to the Outer Hebrides, which is way up there, 56 degrees north. And me and 11 students who have never been up there either. It's exciting, it's new space, new waters. It's really nice to take a back step and not be the lead instructor. I'm just going to follow Nigel around. It's amazing. I've never paddled in the North Atlantic. And I finally fit in. I'm a redhead. I look like a Viking up there. I'll get into town and people will expect this curly Scottish accent to spew out of my mouth, but it won't be. It'll be just a g'day, mate. It's clearly still very light. They're still packing outside. The curse of lots of light is that you use 20 hours of daylight. So for 10 days I paddled south in the Outer Hebrides and I didn't talk. I didn't talk to camera. I've been inspired by films before where you just watch magnificent footage and then someone comes in post and tells this lovely story over the top of it. And I thought, that's what I'll do. I mean, what's not shown in there too is this great little fishing sequence. I go fishing. I had a telescopic fishing pole with me. I go out. Within 5 minutes, I catch this thumping great fish. I have no idea what the fish is. Students got pretty excited, took my fishing rod out, busted it. And then I was able to give the students, I took the piss out of the students for the next week because they busted my fishing rod. It was a really nice, fun, friendly relationship. And they were great people. And I didn't tell their story. Beau, you went to the Outer Hebrides with this great group of people with a camera that has a microphone within it and you didn't talk. I like the fact that these 4 films that are not quite right and all really flawed, still when you poke and prod them and when you bung them together and I think YouTube land would appreciate that. There's something in there. There's something worth an upload. There's a funny thing, content and content are spelt the same way. So content on YouTube is spelt the same as how content I am. And I think at this stage I'm content in letting that content see the light of day. Junk films. There you go. I hope I didn't waste your time. In fact, I know I didn't waste your time. I think that was brilliant, Beau. Well done. Probably can't end on that, but it's a bit of fun.